I'd like to welcome all of you back to Terrible at Fishing. Yes, I'm terrible at fishing. I'm your host, Michael, and today we're going to talk about spinning reels. Now, I'm going to use some pretty fancy words and high technical words, so I don't want you to get lost. Just drop your comments below if you think I'm talking over your head. But this is a spinning reel. That's it. Now, the spinning reel, also like the baitcaster, has ratios. As the handle goes around, this doohickey, this is a doohickey. That's a doohickey. It goes around multiple times to one turn of the handle. That's it. This one is 3-to-1, and you can find that on this bottom portion of your spool. Yeah, it's I know. If I talk over your head, just tell me. So the bottom portion of the spool is going to tell you a lot of information. It's going to tell you its ratio. It's going to tell you what line it can hold and how much of the line it can hold. So usually on a spinning setup that I have, I use lighter line, and so I can throw lighter baits. On a bait caster, it's a little harder to throw those really light ones, like the baby ones. This is a baby jerkbait. Baby jerkbait. So it actually is good for throwing that. And baby jerkbaits get baby fish, small fish. Typically, your bait, the bigger the bait, the bigger the fish. But you can get a dumb fish, and he'll go after the little guys. And boy, that's a lot of fun, because you were expecting a crappie, but you got a bass. So, go back to our technical aspects of our spinning reel. Now, the nice thing about spinning reels, see the handle? You can flip it over to the left or right side typically. Bait casters, you have to buy them right or left-handed. So these, you can go ahead and move, take this little screw out, this right here, and yeah, that comes out. And you can go ahead and flip it to the other side. Some of these come with this little switch right here. Now this is your brake thing that keeps it from going backwards. So it keeps it from doing this. If you do it that way, it goes freely both ways. So typically you always want it to lock in one direction. So that allows you to reel it in and not mess up. So we got this right here is a doohickey. And when you cast, you got to open the doohickey, hold the line onto the rod, and when you cast, you release the line with the other hand. And that makes the line fall off the spool. The spool doesn't turn. It just falls off of it. So remember, bait casters, the spool turns. Spinning reels, it doesn't. It doesn't really make sense when you think about it. Shouldn't the word spin go on the bait caster? Yeah, I think so. But they messed up. These were invented first, probably. And this spins, the little doohickey spins. Again, if I talk over your heads, just tell me. So this spins, and that actually puts the line back on it. So this takes the line off. Open it up. Takes the line off. When you release it with your other hand, you're pressing the line with your thumb or finger, and when you cast, you're just releasing it. It's a two-handed operation. Bait casters are a one-handed operation, and so are something called a spin cast. That's for another day. The spinning reel, two hands, that's why it's harder to get an accurate cast. Working one hand, you can actually flip it. You can do all sorts of things. Skip it. Not saying that you can't do it with this. It's just a lot easier with a bait caster. So let's put the doohickey down. I'm going to show you this dial up front. Yep, that's it. Now this dial is our drag. Yeah. That doesn't mean it's wearing a dress. This is a drag dial. And that allows you, when you tighten it, it's harder, it keeps this from running freely. So all your reels are going to have a certain amount of drag. And so we don't want the fish to take too much of the line, but we also want to be able to set it. And so we want to adjust our drag somewhere in the middle, and so we can set the hook in the fish and still allow the fish some leeway to run with it. So you want to have something 5 to 1 ratio or greater in order to be able to keep up with fish. Typically, we would like 7 to 1. This little guy is an old reel that I have. Is a 3 to 1. I mean, you'd have to do that in order to catch up. The fish started coming towards me. I'm going to do that. Very hard. I don't know if I could do this for that long. So that is your spinning reel. Do not forget, when you put line on it, to put it underneath the doohickey. I can't tell you how many times I put line on this, and I forgot to flip the doohickey or go underneath it. That's what I did. And then I have to redo it, things like that. So that is the ins and outs of a spinning reel. Now, the rod is a little different from, okay, I'm going to tangle it. The rod is a little different from the bait caster. Bait caster has a trigger right here. So these don't, because you've got this really good handle right here. And the bait casters don't have this handle. So they put a stop for our hand over here. But these right here, you can go ahead and just hold it any way you want. And typically, see this right here, this is the line. When I cast it, I would hold this up against the rod, open my doohickey, and then throw it. And then release, while throwing it, I release my thumb, and it just unspools off of the spool. And then when it lands, I can just flip the doohickey back and tighten up my slack and wait for my fish. So that is the type of rod you want to put a spinning reel on. Now, can you put it on a bait casting rod? Sure, why not? But, if a fisherman's out there, he goes, what are you doing with a spinning reel and a bait casting, or a bait caster on a spinning reel? Well, it works. So what are they complaining about? It ain't their setup. But nonetheless, spinning on a spinning rod, this is it. Pretty easy to do and understand. So, just to review, just a little bit, when it comes to spinning reels, you don't have to buy them left or right-handed. Most of them have a flippable handle. It's a two-handed casting operation. You flip the doohickey open, you hold the line, and you throw it, releasing the line with your other hand. Then you flip the doohickey back, and you can reel it in and tighten up the slack, or if you're running a lure, you could go ahead and reel it in. These are really good with light line and lighter baits that the bait caster has a problem with. So I usually use a 6 or 8 pound line on this, which, by the way, I hooked into a striper just the other day, about a week and a half ago, and it was huge. And it bent my pole 90 degrees, and as I was fighting this thing, I was using an 8 pound test on a 10 or 12 pound striper as it was running. You'd be surprised how strong 6 or 8 pound test is. You buy it from a good company like Cast King. I use Cast King line. And you will find that their 8-pound fluorocarbon line is fantastic. Line is not expensive, so don't go cheap on it. Just get good line. You'll be surprised the difference between good line and bad line. One's going to catch the fish, one's going to snap, and you'll lose the fish. So don't skimp on line. But I use a monofluorocarbon on all my reels, and they have monofluorocarbon doesn't have a memory. So as you stretch it or crimp it and things like that, it doesn't retain that particular shape. So it actually is a pretty good way of a good line to go. Although you could go with braid, but I'm using this for a much lighter setup. So anyway, two-handed operation. The middle spool does not spin. It just gets removed by releasing the doohickey. It goes ahead and just flows off of the spool. That's what it does. So, and then when you flip the doohickey back, you could reel it in. That's how. Again, it's a very technical term. I'm sorry I have to talk maybe over some people's heads, but I think you can, this is actually called a doohickey, no matter what a fisherman tells you. And this right here is a knob. Yeah, it's a knob. And this, it's a handle. And this, we're going to call it the neck. Probably what it's really called. I don't know. And then this, on the back, a little flipper. It's called a flipper. And it'll release the brake or the stop on the doohickey or release the doohickey. So you can turn it forwards or backwards. Never understood why you would do that, but your drag will do that. So I don't know why the switch is there. Some reels just don't have them. So it's kind of a stupid little, switch. But, it's not necessary because you can adjust your drag out and just pull your line off. Or the fish can. I don't understand when you go backwards. Maybe if you're dyslexic, maybe that's why they do it. I don't know. So that's a spinning reel. That's it. It's called a spinning wheel. If you have any questions, just drop it below in the comments. I'm going to give you a few links down there. Again, Casting makes a fantastic reel. I recommend the Sharky 3. The Sharky 3 is a fantastic reel. It's you can look it up, and it can take any kind of abuse that you put on it. It's a fantastic reel, and it runs, if I remember right, about $45-50. So that's what that reel costs, and it'll be the only reel you'll have for the rest of your life. So, again, when it comes to things like reels and rods, stay within your budget, but you'll be surprised what you can get in your budget. Because Casting makes spinning reels down to $20, I think, on up. So check them out, castking.com with K at the very beginning. I'll drop a link just below. I'll also drop a link to Sixth Sense Fishing. They make a fantastic line of lures and baits. I'm going to do an unboxing. It's the only one the only company I actually subscribe to, and I don't stop the subscription. So every month I get new products from them. Check it out, and you won't be disappointed with any of their boxes. Look on YouTube, Unboxing Sixth Sense, and you'll find that nobody dogs them. Nobody. Because they have fantastic stuff. The lures and baits they make, and they are fantastic. Some of them you can get baits that are hand painted by the owners. So really a cool thing to do. Anyway, if you have any questions about spinning reels, just drop them below. I'm sorry, I just, talked very technical, with knobs and doohickeys and stuff like that. But that's just me. I'm just a really smart guy. So anyway, drop comments below.